Coffee should not cost $4, but I like the barista, so you give him a tip and then it's $5.
I have had it with news about the Kardashians. Emphatically unsubscribe.
I got a new apartment, but now I need 1,000 boxes, so my life has become a Seinfeld skit.
I'm being subtly ravaged by age. Not cool, man.
Not at all. Have such a good day. Well, hello and welcome to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
Our show. It's our cute little show.
It is. It's yours and mine, but it's all of ours. And we have a lot of folks who have become part of the Have Such a Good Day community, and we love you so much.
And you know what's so great about it is that we can commiserate. That's what we do. We commiserate with each other and with you and about all things life.
All things life, the good, the bad, the peaks, the valleys,
the ugly,
the troughs, and what's the opposite of trough?
The trough and valley. No,
peak and valley.
Peak and valley.
Trough and sine curve. I don't know.
Let us know. Hi at havesuchagoodday.com.
Right. What's the opposite of a trough?
Oh, God, it's on the tip of my brain.
Well,
anyway,
while you're thinking of that, Heather and we're not going to sugarcoat this episode at all. Sometimes weeks are trying.
Yeah.
And I am positive that many of you watching or listening, we have a video and an audio version, so happy to have you in whichever way you are part of our world. Life is fucking tough sometimes.
You know, there's something in the air, I think.
Yeah.
I will save this for later, but I did meet a psychic last weekend. Yeah, I didn't tell you about this.
You did not.
She talked a lot about how the air is not good.
Now, okay, so I've never actually seen a psychic. I don't not believe in psychic power. It's just like not a thing that I think about. It's sort of how I feel about zodiac signs. Where I'm just like,
take it with a grain of salt.
You guys talk about that stuff like it doesn't affect my life one way or another. However, did you pay to get like advice from the psychic, or is it just like some psychic you met on the sidewalk?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
So I don't seek it out either.
Yeah.
And I take it with a grain of salt. What it is, I think people assume that it's so like hoity-toity spiritual, like they're, but it's really just a conversation with someone who might be a little more in touch with a certain level out there, like certain vibes. I don't know.
Oh, right.
But people who maybe spend a lot of time meditating and they're on a different level of understanding the world. And so to me, it's never kind of like, I have gotten my cards read and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's like, it's just a conversation where you can learn something. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh boy,
like you're gonna die.
Yeah, no, it's not like
6
that.
months.
It's not like that at all.
No.
Like you'll get these cards. Most cards have all these different levels of good, bad, in between. So you can read them in a lot of different ways. And so I took it to me. I was poolside at this place. I was away for the weekend. And this woman just kind of sets up shop, like in the back of the pool area, like outside.
Like tarot cards?
Yeah, like tarot. Yeah. But she did the tarot, but then she kind of like brings up conversations.
Sure.
And to me, that was like a sign I should do it in a way. She's there. It felt like a good time to do it. I was like, why not? Like I met a new person. In fact, I had a beer with her like later that night, me and the psychic.
Well, psychic like beer too. No, I know what you mean though. I think
it's food for thought.
Grain of salt
is for thought.
It's a good way to put it, but it's like if somebody has kind of dedicated their career to picking up the vibes of other people that they don't really know that well, we all get that. Like I like when you meet somebody and you're like, I think I kind of get your vibe.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not necessarily telling someone that, but if they wanted to know, I would do it. Like I think that's in essence, it's kind of a cool skill to be honing for yourself.
Totally. And honestly, I'm sitting there listening to her, kind of like seeing her wheels turn, and I'm slightly eye rolling because I'm just like,
Right.
She could be totally...
You're a psychic at the pool. And
yeah, and she could be totally pulling my leg. Like, she could just be literally coming up with random things just to say something. I mean, you don't know. I don't know this person.
Well, so there's...
I'm a total cynic, Sarah.
I am a skeptic about these things.
And a skeptic. That's actually what I meant to say.
Skeptic, cynic,
yeah,
you know, thing. Whatever. Yeah, we're also very jaded. But I think there's a oh god, what's the name of the show? Long Island Medium. Anybody who knows the show knows what I'm talking about. It's like a reality show about, you know, a woman who you know supposedly can like read people.
Yeah.
But it's like there are certain things that, and again, I don't know, maybe it's an actual skill that some people have, but it always kind of these folks always seem to have the same tactics where they're like, I'm getting a name that starts with a letter J.
That's like from the movies though.
But people will be like, yeah, it was
John.
Totally. You know, my brother, where it's like, okay, well that does seem pretty like, wow, you've got your finger on the pulse of something, but like how many times did she say like the letter D and they're like, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't see that. Like, I don't know.
I know. It's weird. And I think I just do it because it's like a life. I find it sort of, it's like meeting people, you know? And it's just food for thought. You don't have to take it so literally. It's a conversation. She might say, like she said something like, write down all your fears in a journal on one page. And so keep writing every, other page is your fears. And then the other pages are dreams. Okay. And so every day...
And the idea is to what? Like balance these things
out? Rip out the fears. So you write them all down.
I see.
And then you write down the dreams. So it's like this
It's a therapeutic thing.
Yeah. And then you rip out the fears, crumple them up and throw them away. And then you've got a book of dreams. And so it's a bit of a... It sort of switches your negative thinking.
And that's not really like psychic stuff. That's like somebody being like, hey, maybe look at life a little bit differently.
I think that she was, that's the thing. I think it's misleading when someone says, oh, it's a psychic. It's like, I think people don't totally get what that entails. It's not always this crystals and beaded curtains.
Right.
And
yeah. And I'm going to tell you your future.
Yeah. It's not like that. I mean, I think there are probably people like that, but
I think in general, apologies to any psychics we've offended inadvertently, but I think in general, wanting to kind of like get to know somebody and help them
totally
is a great thing.
Yep.
I mean, whether or not you're good at it, I don't know, but it's a nice thing in theory.
You know what's great too is when do you ever have a really deep conversation with a total stranger?
All the time.
I mean, I'm not talking about like
car
in
washes.
Your bodega. Yeah,
bodega.
but about your deep dark secrets and
no, I know what you mean.
So that's kind of an interesting thing.
In fact, I kind of avoid it. I don't really like you know when a stranger kind of gets a little too much where you're like, whatever you're doing right now, I don't like it.
That's how it kind of got a little bit later in the evening. But anyway,
psychics shouldn't drink beer.
They shouldn't. Definitely not. I was like, aren't you on the clock?
Let that be a lesson to you all. Keep it profesh, especially if you're reading my future.
Seriously. And you know what? I wanted to say happy fall to everybody. Do you guys feel it in the air?
Fall as in autumn.
Yeah.
Because
we're officially fall.
We are now in October. And yes, we're officially fall, and it won't be long before we go to standard time rather than daylight. It's coming up, guys, end of the month.
Sarah's Crusade.
It's actually beginning of November, but it used to be the end of October because it used to be right before Halloween. But anyway, I have to say, Heather, and I don't want to get too into the weeds about I don't know, deep dark stuff, but this is not my favorite time of year. And I think that I share kind of holiday angst with a lot of folks.
With me.
With you, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to put my finger on what bothers me. I mean, I have sort of personal reasons for why October is not my favorite month, although it is my birthday month. So, hey, there's that,
Happy
another trip
birthday.
around the sun. Thank you very much. But the holidays,
it gets darker earlier. It gets darker earlier to get on my nerves a little because you want to be home with your honey and it's cozy and
right.
And
there's just, I think, it's you hear so much about people getting really down around the holidays, and I wouldn't say that that's my, I'm not sort of going like, oh, I'm in, like a pit of despair, but it becomes something that it's like the significance of the little things.
Oh yeah.
They bother me more.
Yeah.
And then after New Year's, I'm good.
Yeah, totally.
It's so strange.
I know. It's like you feel there is like a fresh start. In fact, I enjoy New Year's Eve. I enjoy celebrating.
Me too.
Because I feel like either if I had a crappy year, I can just be like, go take a hike,
Right.
or I can celebrate, that year it was so great and like, let's have another great year. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do on New Year's and it can go either way.
Totally.
But
I know folks who they find the sort of pressure of having like the best New Year's Eve party ever, like
that
too
can be
much. So they're
annoying.
like, I just don't.
Just have
Where I'm
Tom
like-
have another party because that was good.
My friend Tom had a New Year's Eve party. Heather was there. We had a really good time. But yeah, I agree with you. So all right, let's talk a little bit about how our week has been.
Yeah, and
Sounds great.
I
Right?
want to really quickly plug our bonus topic for those of you who are not at the $5 level. This is what you're going to be missing out on today.
And these are our patrons. We're talking
Yes.
about patrons, meaning people who are contributing to this wonderful show that we do. Yay! Once a week. Patreon.com/have such a good day. Find out more about it.
And you might be wondering too, like, why do we need contributors? Well, we're a 2-woman crew. We don't have anybody cutting the show other than Sarah. We split the.
I mean, Otis was fired long ago.
Yeah,
very,
none of
very
the animals
unhelpful.
contribute, but it's it's a lot of work every week. I mean, it's every week we got to record it, we got to write it, we have to talk about it, and so it's a job really at the end of the day. So your guys' contributions are really important to us.
And yes, well said. I think.
Thank you.
But seriously, it's the idea behind this for Heather and I is it's absolutely a labor of love.
Yeah.
But it's also not something that we could do on our own just because we feel like it.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. It takes work.
Yeah.
We don't even live that close to each other.
Yeah.
It's there's gear and editing and the whole thing.
A lot of schlepping.
And we love it, but we could not do it without you. So thank you
Thank
to
you so
everybody
much.
who supports us and just sort of spreads the word.
Yeah, really.
know?
That's huge. And
Yeah.
so today's topic, this is, I do a poll every week, and this is the one that won by kind of a landslide. What is your idea of romance? So we're going to get pretty deep and pretty personal later in the show.
How about that?
But only for $5 and above patrons.
bonus topic, folks. Get ready to weep.
So if you're paying $1
least
and
I
you
will.
want to hear this, you better quickly change your contribution.
Good stuff. But yeah, so every week we have a bonus topic that is for, again, our patrons of $5 or higher level, and it's been really fun to get a better sense of what that community wants from us.
Yeah.
Because we think we know what we want to talk about. Like, should we what's like the sort of deep topic for the night?
We don't want to talk about something that the audience doesn't want to hear. So
Exactly.
it's important to.
It takes a village.
It does take a village.
Takes a village. Speaking of villages, and some of this will kind of bleed into our romance topic later in the show in our bonus time. But I wanted to just mention that this week, I've been thinking a lot about people that I love. Of which there are
Like
many. So you're a person that I love that I want to be as close to me as possible. Like if I could chain you to me, I would. But there are other people that I love that I have had to admit are not healthy emotionally for me. And I think that and I mean, I'm certainly not bringing anything up that people don't already know. We all know that it's like, sometimes people just aren't the right people for you in your life.
Sure.
And that could be friendship. That could be romantic. That could be family. It could be a teacher or, all sorts of things, your boss, whatever. And I've been thinking a lot about when, what that threshold is. Because I think for reasons, again, we don't have to get into, like, I feel like I'm understanding my threshold more than ever.
And like, when do you know? Like, you know, it's like, when is a good time to cut it off?
When you're like, I love you, however, I gotta let you go.
Yeah,
because you're actually bringing me down.
Yeah,
then, you know?
But it takes a little while to even figure out that that's been a wet blanket. It's like, we all have blind spots, and there's nobody out there that doesn't have blind spots, especially when it comes to being close to people. And, you know, that's what friends are for, to kind of point out like, hey man, you've been hurting yourself for a long time, or, you know, and it's a little scary, those blind spots, because you don't, then you look back, like hindsight, you're like, wow, I can't believe that lasted that long. Or,
well, and I think that's that term, hindsight is 2020, is so true, because with time, we often are like, oh, this was like very clear. Why was I so blind at the time?
Yeah.
You know, like what was what was the fog going on? But I think, at least for me, I know one of my biggest, I don't even want to call it a shortcoming, it's just the way that I am, is that when I care about somebody, even if I feel like I'm hurting despite the relationship, like I'll just keep doing it because I care.
Totally.
And that is not healthy. And
you're not thinking about yourself.
Well, because again, you don't want to seem selfish. Sure. But at the same time, it's like, but you're actually almost like self-harming.
Oh yeah, you know? For sure. It's a little bit of it's like I wonder if there's a little like masochism and masochistic quality,
I think
where
so.
you don't realize you're doing it, but you're kind of hurting yourself on purpose in a way.
Yeah. Well, and I think that has to do with there's so many factors. It's like, you know.
How much time do you guys have?
We are now going to start our therapy session. But yeah, it's you know, your confidence level, your self-esteem, like all sorts of stuff that has to do way more with you than whoever this person is that you sort of allow to kind of bring you down. Anyway, so I've been thinking a lot about that.
No, but that's good stuff.
But it has been, you know, it's a rollicking week.
Oh yeah, man, it always is. Yeah, for me too. It's funny. I mean, my anecdote is somewhat similar. I've been thinking a lot about like how, you know, everybody has their highs and lows, and it can be, you know, you can have highs and lows in the same day, or it's like bigger highs and lows over the course of a year. But there's no way you can be high without being low. I mean, there's no way around it. There's nobody out there who always feels good or always feels bad. I mean, you know, things just that's just life. That's just being human.
Right.
And once you accept that, you'll be so much better off, because if not, you're always going to fight it, and you're always going to think, well, why do I feel bad? But it's like, this is just all part of it. Yeah. So I was thinking about this a lot, and, you know, I do forget it. I think we all do. It's like, again, wait, why is this happening? And you have to remind yourself that this is normal. You know, I spent a couple days in Ohio again. It's like my little safe cocoon. I go up there. It's about an hour and a half drive north, and it's this cute little small quiet town. And there's this adorable little affordable, like, kind of, it's a bit of a motel, but it's cool. It has a pool.
It's a cute, fun, very cute motel. We were up there for a wedding recently. In fact,
we talked about that.
Anybody who's been listening to us on the show probably remembers that.
In fact, Sarah,
it's actually adorable.
It's so cute. And I had a room that had basically a hot tub in it with jet. You know, it was like a bathtub with jets. It was amazing. So I had like a bubble bath, and it was very therapeutic. It was great. Yeah. You know, over the course of the couple days that I was there, you know, I talked to the psychic and had a lot of time to think about, you know, you never know when you're going to wake up one day and you're going to feel high again. And it might be the most unexpected time. But, you know, life is full of possibilities, and one day you might feel like there aren't any, and then the next day something will fall in your lap that'll be so wonderful. And I wanted to mention to all of you, I want you to know what's going on. But you know, as you know, I'm a freelance producer, and that's what I do by trade, and that's what I have the most experience in. But you know, I thought, why not do some other little, you know, it's all about the side hustle these days. Sure. So I'm going to be tutoring. I have my first tutoring job starting next week.
What kind of things are you tutoring?
It's kind of crazy. I tutored a little bit in San Francisco for like the lycée, like years ago, so long ago.
You're talking about French.
Yeah, French. French language. And so this girl, she's 11, she's in 11th grade. She's in French 3 and she's struggling with her homework and she's a visual learner and she, you know, her mom wants to find some ways to get her to like absorb things better. And so, yeah, they hired me and I'm going to do like 2 days a week with her. It's crazy though, because like I haven't done that type of teaching in a while. I know I can do it. I've got workbooks and I'm excited to do it. But I'm just saying this because, you know, the possibilities. I mean, I didn't think a couple weeks ago that I'd be like French tutoring again. I mean, you know, this is a skill that I have that I don't use that much in my real job.
But it's so valuable.
It is valuable, clearly. Yeah. So I'll keep you posted.
You know, back in the day, I definitely should never be anyone's French tutor, but back in the day, I don't even think I was in high school yet. Maybe I was in high school. Yeah, probably like early high school. I tutored a kid, a girl. Her name was Destiny. I'll never forget that. In math, because I was good at math, and it was the same thing. It was like she was younger than me. She was having a hard time. I think her parents liked the idea of her having a mentor of sorts, totally. You know, and you know, ultimately, you know, we lost touch. I don't know where she is. I hope she's doing really great. But I remember being like, it's hard. It was my first feeling of, oh, this is what teachers who are really passionate about what they enjoy struggle with. Yeah. You know, because sometimes I'd be like, no, just look at the equation though. Look at it. See, you can see that it either makes sense or it doesn't, you know, and she'd be like, I hate this. Yeah. And obviously a lot of people don't like math, so whatever. But it was challenging. Yeah. Like almost to the point where I was like, ooh, being a full-time math teacher must be.
And when you're like, it's like you and the kid, and you're like across from each other, and like you're the one, like you are the one that has to show them the way. Right, and you know, what if they're ornery, or like, what if like you don't know what kind of, I don't have no idea what this kid's like. Apparently she's a professional singer. So we'll see. But yeah, I know she's like,
is it Ariana Grande?
She's like a Beverly Hills child.
Well, I bet she'll be great.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be good.
She's in 11th grade, so let's be honest, she's going to be a pill because totally. Teenage girls are the worst.
She'll be on her phone.
We used to be teenage girls.
Like, you know,
I mean, I wouldn't want to hang out with myself in 11th grade.
It's going to be very, but that's such but
it might be rewarding.
Fun experience. Yeah. It just, whatever happens, it'll be interesting.
It's like obedience training for your dog.
Yes.
Except that it's for French.
Yes, exactly. Exactement.
You can give her a croissant every time she gets something right. I'm sorry to all the French people. I'm just throwing out all the stereotypes. So Heather, I don't know if you noticed, but earlier today, that we're recording this on Wednesday, October 3rd, and anybody who has an iPhone or an Android phone, for the most part, I know some people didn't get it for whatever reason, but most of us got the presidential alert.
Definitely.
Now, the presidential alert itself read as follows. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. Now, when you see something that says presidential alert, you're immediately like, did the president die? Like, like, are we under attack? You know, like it's totally. kind of stressful. It's kind of like
fascist.
It's a little
society.
There's something like, what's going on here? But like, hey, we're just testing the system, you know, that like went out to all cell phones for like millions of Americans. No action needed. So of course, you know, as many of you know, or at least can imagine, lots of, you know, the comedians on Twitter come out and make fun of the entire thing. What was the best thing
you read? Do you remember?
Well, I don't know if it was the best thing, but one of the tweets that I ended up liking came from Ben David Grabinski, who said, "How do I apply fuck you to a presidential alert?" I just thought that was funny.
That's hilarious.
Now, I don't think that like true alerts should be, you know, written off. Thank you very much.
Really cool wine glass you got over there, Sarah.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
It's
a little teacup.
Well, it's my nanny's.
Can you toast a teacup?
Of course. Okay. Yeah. Well, it started out. This is actually anyway. We won't get too much into all the beverages I'm drinking.
Ginger drink.
My ginger made Super Aid, as it's called. It's really good.
I tried it. It's very good.
It's very good. But it was funny because this happened. It was earlier in the day. I was kind of getting ready for DTNS, which is another podcast that I host and produce. And we were all like, did you get this alert? Like, an Amber Alert is something that, I mean, I'm very familiar with. Yeah. And it can sometimes like wake you up out of a deep sleep and be like, oh my God. Yeah. You know, but like, I would never try to turn that off because it's about a child abduction. But a presidential alert that is like, we're just testing the system. It's
very alarming. I mean, you know, no pun intended, but
you're right. But like,
I want to know why. What is behind this?
You're right.
Are they launching a missile?
Well, and the thing is like, okay, so, I mean, hopefully nothing bad happened today, but if there was an actual emergency.
Sure.
And there have been.
Like a tsunami,
or, you know, I don't know, terrorist or whatever thing. Yeah.
Attack.
Zombies finally figure things out and, you know, they're on the attack against us. Whatever it is, if there was an alert to be given to me that would, you know, wake me up out of a deep sleep, I want it.
Well, yeah.
But if there isn't any context, then you end up getting all the people being like, this. You know,
okay, so
what are they doing?
Let me ask you this. This might be a dumb question, but when you go to bed, like I turn my ringer off, I turn my night, you know, my little night moon, whatever you call it, on until my alarm goes off in the morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't put it in airplane mode, but it doesn't matter. Like those alarms will come in even if you have your, I figured. I mean, that's the point.
I do not do night mode. I do turn my ringer off, but I also I would never put my phone in airplane mode because I'm always worried.
No, I wouldn't either.
If there was if my mother needs to call me, I don't know. I mean, if my phone's like buzzing, but it's, you know, on vibrate, it's like, well, I probably wouldn't wake up anyway, but I still I want it to get through.
I feel a little weird like having it even on the night guard.
Somebody shot somebody outside.
Bomb outside. Jeez.
Speaking of emergencies.
Well, you know, it's funny. There's a building that was just built next to me. I talked about it. It's like a high rise. And at night, if you go anywhere near the perimeter, this is like a real like lockdown building. And if you go anywhere near the parking garage, there's a recorded voice that comes on that goes, do not go any further or there will be authority, or like something. And it's like this deep, weird voice. And it's quite,
is it like, I mean, is it
haunting.
Motion detected?
Yeah,
it's
motion detected, but it's like, it's so loud and it's like
also
it's
like, whoa, I wasn't trying to
like go easy.
You know, it's funny, not too far from where I live, there are some paddle tennis courts, right? So it's like a tennis court, but it's smaller. If you're not familiar with paddle tennis, I never knew that paddle tennis existed until I lived in Venice, but it's the same thing. The tennis, if you go in there after hours, you get a weird voice that's like, please leave the paddle tennis court, you know, because it's like they don't want people like in there doing riff-raffy stuff or like, you know, tagging it or you know, pooping in there, whatever people do.
But I want to poop in there.
Well, it's, you know, it's Venice. You know, there is actually a lot of that going on. But yeah, it's very aggressive.
It is. So, okay, I know we talked about this. It was probably a few weeks ago. We were talking about Lady Gaga is getting all these accolades for her acting in this Bradley Cooper movie, directed, and he also is a star in this. Is called A Star Is Born, and
which is a remake of the popular Barbra Streisand movie with that other guy. I forget.
Back in the day, you know. But Sarah and I are going to have a date, and we're going to go see this movie.
We're going to hold hands.
Yes, we are. It's going to happen either this weekend or next week.
When is it? Does it come out on Friday?
I think it came out this week.
Oh, it did.
Well, it comes out on the 5th, which I think is Friday.
Oh yeah.
And so
it'll have to be next week.
Yeah, we'll do it next week, and we'll give you our review, thumbs up or thumbs down, or no, we'll do like an A through F kind of thing. I think that's what the kind of reviews we're giving. I just thought it made me think of my favorite musicians that either have turned into actors or even just musicians who have had like a really good few roles and they really have good acting chops. And especially with Lady Gaga, because she hasn't done much acting. And I'm just blown away that like she's getting so much Oscar buzz for like barely any acting training. And so I'm so fascinated. I'm just excited to see her in action and see what happens with these nominations. But it made me, the first person I thought of, because he's my favorite, is David Bowie in Labyrinth as the Goblin King. You remember this?
I do.
Sarah,
You
don't
remind me of the
forget about the
baby.
baby. Go back and play with your toys and costumes. Forget about the baby. Anyway, he was amazing. I thought he was really good. A couple other ones that, I mean, these are all kind of obvious, but they just need to be shouted out. And Mark Wahlberg, I think, is a great actor. He's really kind of shown his talents. I mean, Boogie Nights is one of my favorite movies. I think he's fucking brilliant in that. The Fighter, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
He's in The Departed, which is like my favorite movie ever.
I didn't know that was your favorite movie.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
The Departed?
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it got Best Picture, so I mean,
Well,
I'm not alone.
yeah,
but yeah,
and it is
I've seen that movie
Martin
like
Scorsese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say I've seen it probably as many times as I've seen Goodfellas.
I just didn't know this about you.
This is, I mean, mob movies are my thing.
Well, me too. I love Goodfellas.
But The Departed specifically is very there's a lot of levels to that movie.
Yeah. There are.
And it's just
very long. I remember it being very long.
See, like, I mean, to me, I'm like, like I would like, after you leave here tonight and I like put all my stuff back together, like I would put The Departed on and be like so much happier than watching anything else that I could possibly watch.
Okay.
I love that movie.
I'll rewatch it because it's been a while. I haven't seen
great.
it since it came out.
You just have to like dirty Irish people.
I do.
Which I am one.
You are. You're especially dirty. So I also want to say I want to say Will Smith because I always think of the Fresh Prince. He is the Fresh Prince
of Bel Air, correct?
Of the DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and I grew up with that. I mean,
parents just don't understand.
Okay, here's the situation.
Yeah, parents went away on a week's vacation
and they left the keys to the brand new Porsche.
Are they mine?
No, of course not. I can seriously sing that whole thing. It's so amazing, the music lyric memory. Like it's like the muscle memory is such a trip sometimes where something will come on and I will know all of the lyrics and I'll kind of be sitting there going, I didn't even know I knew this.
Like is there a demon inside me?
Yeah,
like,
totally. It's a trip. Anyway, I think he's actually a pretty decent actor. I mean, Justin Timberlake has done a pretty good job. Tom Waits, I love. He's been in a lot of Jim Jarmusch movies. I have a special love for Tom Waits. Jared Leto also.
You know, Tom Waits lives in my hometown.
I know.
Which is Sebastopol, California, by the way.
Doesn't he live in Occidental?
He might. Yeah. I mean, it's all kind of the same. I mean, once you get that country, it's all kind of the same country.
Man, I always thought like
he like shops at Safeway and stuff in Sebastopol.
Totally. And apparently he plays at like some kind of bar there. There's a piano bar and he plays. And I always thought, God, I would love to just stumble upon that some night.
Bar in Sebastopol?
Maybe it's an Occidental. I don't know.
Occidental, actually, anybody who's like, where are you even talking? Look for Occidental, starts with an O, Occidental, California. Occidental used to be...
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It used to be, there was... I think it was like an Italian restaurant called Negri's, and there was like an ice cream shop, and there was nothing else. There was Harmony School, which sounds nice. Like when I was a cheerleader, like the Harmony girls were like our like rivals. I don't even think those schools exist anymore because everyone's too rich now, and so none of the young families actually like the school actually shut down because there just weren't like young kids. However, beautiful place.
Yeah,
beautiful place.
So beautiful. Yeah. I always sort of had a fantasy of like moving there when I'm older.
I know somebody who has a little place in Occidental.
Really? Mm-hmm. I always wanted my dad to help me buy a place there. Anyway,
but it's always just funny to me because it's like as a kid, like you didn't want to be from Occidental.
No, of course not.
Sebastopol was like, I mean, whatever. You're like country bumpkins already, but like Occidental was like, oh God, you only have that one Italian restaurant and the one ice cream shop and nothing. And now it's like shishi.
Totally. Everything is. But, everything's getting like gentrified. It's crazy. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit in a second about apartment hunting in Los Angeles, and we'll talk about gentrification a little bit because it's really interesting to see that happening. But before we do that, I would like to talk a little bit about our wonderful platform, patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. If you don't know, I know that we talk about this a lot, but we need to give them props because it's our home.
Well, so
where we live.
and Patreon is, again, we like to hammer this home because it's so important to us that if we can have a community supported show, and again, it's like there's nothing wrong with having advertising money, but we don't right now, and we're doing it that way on purpose.
Eventually, maybe we will. But, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, as long as we can, this is such a great way to just kind of foster new friendships and make it a show about a lot of people rather than
like-minded people,
just the two of us. Yeah, and keep ourselves honest.
Yeah.
And Patreon is a great way to do that. If you are not familiar with the platform, there are a lot of cool shows
There
on
are
Patreon.
really. There's a lot of music and art and hosts like us and
exactly.
Yeah, very very cool platform. Also, I mean, we're on iTunes too. You probably already know that. So if you want to just listen to the audio, we're on iTunes. And if you like our show, we would love, if you want to review us, that would be wonderful.
5 stars.
Right now, yeah, we've got 8 5-star reviews, which is kind of awesome. But it would be so great to get like hundreds of great reviews. So
it would.
I know it takes a second to do that, but we would so appreciate it.
We really would, and Heather makes a good point. Is we make the show for you. We are community supported. We're so appreciative. But if for whatever reason you're not in a position to support financially, but you can give a nice review if you like it. And again, tell a friend, be like, hey, listen to the show.
We want to broaden the audience
I think you might like
bit.
Heather and Sarah.
Yeah.
Then that is just as valuable.
Oh, for sure.
And
absolutely.
And we hope that you do that.
Thank you so much in advance.
Give us 5-star reviews early and often.
So we've got maybe somewhat of a theme going on in the show, but
yeah, and it's about sadness,
and
despair
love and heartbreak, and yes,
we're not dead, we're just mostly dead.
Yeah, we're like rigor mortis has not set in quite yet.
Right. Yeah.
I was thinking about when I was heading back from Ojai, I had one of those high moments where I was, coming out of sort of some like dark clouds, and I was in my car, the sunroof down. I had about a 2-hour drive, and I was really excited to just listen to some music really loud, and sing. I call it karaoke is something that's always been very therapeutic for me. I like to drive fast when I can.
You are an aggressive driver. This is not bad.
Yeah.
Just like,
I like to drive fast.
I believe that you're like,
yeah.
like when you're in your mode.
I mean, I try to be safe, but I just like, if like I'm driving on the freeway and there's not a lot of people there, like I can drive kind of fast and enjoy the open road. There's not a lot of that these days, but so I was just sort of thinking about like music that you might go to music for when you're sad or when you're in a certain mood, when you're in a funk maybe.
Now, is this music that is supposed to get you out of the funk or supposed to like wallow in
both.
the funk?
I would say both.
Okay.
So,
right.
And I know that you could probably contribute to this list. I mean, this can
definitely
be anything. This can be something to just sort of like trigger happy feelings, make yourself feel better. I think mostly for me, if it brings me down at first, it ultimately lifts me up. So I was actually listening to, I don't know why, because it was a little random, but I think a little bit of like, not angry hip hop, but like sort of maybe more aggressive hip hop helps me because I can kind of like sing along, and there is a little bit of an angry element, and you can just kind of like, it's therapeutic.
Harnessing there's whatever's going on.
It exercises, what is going on inside your head. And Young Thug, I listened to him actually all the way home. I think you're probably a fan, is my guess.
Love Young Thug.
Yeah. He's actually pretty great.
I wouldn't call him super angry.
He's not really, but
I think he's very talented. I like him a lot.
I wouldn't say he's that angry either, but he's got some good heavy beats. And, that kind of thing. In fact,
sometimes a little bass drop.
Oh God, that helps me a lot. It really does. I don't know, something just like beats it out of me.
Really helps.
But he did an interesting collaboration just recently. I don't know if you heard. It's very like unexpected collaboration, but apparently Elton John loves his music, and so they did a Rocket Man cover together.
I didn't know this, and I really should.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Wow.
Interpol Turn On the Bright Lights is
one of my favorite albums ever.
It kills me over and over and over. And I've probably listened to it hundreds of times. And it just like, it soothes my soul. It really does. It makes me also a little like sad, but it soothes my soul ultimately. I would say Radiohead is probably another one that is a go-to. I don't know what it is. I have a long history with Radiohead. I think it's very emotional music. I think it's very heady music.
Agree.
And I think that Kid A in particular.
Kid A is one of the best albums, hands down.
Top to bottom.
And it's funny because a lot of Radiohead people are like, oh, Kid A was like that, like kind of electro, where I'm like, that's my favorite Radiohead.
Yeah, totally. I know because like, you know, the Bends and some of the earlier stuff wasn't as like electronic and
it's all good. But it's I mean, even in Rainbows, like it's
oh yeah,
they're not talking about nothing.
No,
it's all
not.
very cerebral.
It's very real. Yeah, it's very cerebral. I think also on some level like Leonard Cohen, because I have such a long history with him too. He's a poet, you know, and I love his poetry. I think he's a wonderful man. His music really just like stirs up my emotions and makes me feel like everything's okay, you know, because he sang a lot about love and heartbreak and that kind of thing.
And I struggle with Leonard Cohen a little bit just because he has such a specific
he's a little
sound.
Not folky, but like I know what you're saying.
But it's, you know, you always know, you know, when it's him, it's him.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Totally. And I think lastly, I mean, this is sort of an obvious one, but something like Nine Inch Nails, like the Downward Spiral is sort of like, you know.
Kind of like wrist cutting music.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And I think that sometimes it can be, because it is a little aggressive and angry. And I think it helps, you know, kind of exercise the demons. So that's my like initial list.
You know, it's funny. I was actually coming back from... It wasn't your house, but I was coming back from your area of town and in LA, which is obviously a huge metropolis. So I knew I was going to be in the car for a while. And yeah, I was in a mood or whatever. And one of my favorite albums is Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. I mean, she was a real star.
Oh,
you know,
sure.
and the whole thing is very tragic. But that album is so good.
It's so good.
And it's sad.
It's so sad.
It's really sad, you know.
If you want to feel something, listen to that album, top to bottom, for sure.
But like, there's something about the sort of dichotomy of it being very sad, but her being so talented, and it's almost kind of upbeat stuff,
totally,
you know, almost like rockabilly a little bit, you know, whatever you jazzy, you know. I love that album, and I put it on sometimes where I'm like, I don't know, I need to like get back to myself.
Yeah, no, music is so therapeutic. It's you know, sometimes you forget. It's again those blinders. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh God, I open my Spotify. Sometimes I'll forget. Like I haven't been on Spotify for a week. What, you know? And right. Music is very healing. Just, you know, to remind all of you out there. So if you guys have a favorite kind of sad, heartbreak, whatever, any kind of music that sort of gets you out of a funk, email us yours at hi@havesuchagoodday.com. I really want to hear what you guys listen to. I know some of you, I know that you're going to definitely write us. Others, you know,
don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
And we'll run through them. We'll run through them on a future episode.
Actually, that would be great.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to hear from you guys, because I sometimes, there's certain, there's a comfort in sometimes putting a song on repeat. Like one particular song that I'm like, it's all I want to hear. I just want to hear that one song. So I do that sometimes when I'm in a certain mood where I don't really want variation. I just want this one thing to kind of sink in and bang, like just over and over and over.
This was probably a couple of years ago, but I was on an airplane. Don't remember where I was going, but like I didn't want to be on the plane. Sometimes I have a little anxiety on airplanes, whatever.
We know this.
Yes. And I was, whatever headspace I was in at the time, I put on Guns N' Roses' November Rain.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
That's for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep or anything. Like I was like, and started again.
It's a very emotional.
It's also a very long song.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I love that song.
It's a great song.
It's great.
And I remember kind of like a few hours into my plane ride being like, Sarah, are you like,
Are you okay?
right? Yeah. Like is this where everything kind of starts to fall apart? But no, it actually like got me through something where I was like, I didn't want to be there. I wasn't having a good day. And I ended up having, I was like, well, that was weird.
You had such a good day.
I had such a good day. Well,
I'm always
something like that. But at the end of it, I was like, I needed that. I just it was like a security blanket or something.
Exactly. And I'm always like, because your Spotify, what you listen to is public. So I'm always like, do they see that I'm listening to this on repeat? Because it's sort of like embarrassing. I don't want anyone to know that.
I feel the same way about Apple Music when I listen to Otis Redding, Dock of the Bay, and I'm singing to my dog, who's also named Otis, where I'm like, do people know that I'm doing this? Because it's like really psycho.
Yeah, I get self-conscious about that.
All right. Well, anyway, hi at havesuchagooddday.com. Please give us your recommendations for songs that either help you wallow, get you out of your trough, or anything in between. So I mentioned earlier in the show that I am moving.
This is so exciting.
It's very exciting. It's kind of weird. Life is an adventure. We'll leave it at that. More to come. But I thought it was a great opportunity for us to talk about the stupid shit that people write when they're trying to get you to rent an apartment.
I always remember when you said, I think it was one of the early shows, you mentioned you look at Craigslist here and there. This was months ago.
Yeah.
And you were like, I just like to see what's out there. And
totally.
You're like, it's a total cesspool. And I'll never forget that you said that.
Well, it's true. It is. And the funny thing is about it is where it's sort of like, okay, let's say you were on a first date with somebody and you can tell that they're just like a shyster and everything that they say, you're like, nah, totally. I don't like that. I know what you're doing right now. That's the way I feel about Craigslist posts about apartments.
True. That's a good analogy.
And, things like if somebody says the apartment is charming, it means it's
hella
old.
Small. Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, small or old. Yeah. Or cozy means it's really small.
Fucking small.
Or, location.
Oh, totally.
All caps.
Oh, and then what I've noticed lately, because I'm actually right behind her. I'm going to be moving soon, and hopefully to the same neighborhood. When they say location, oftentimes it's not a good location. It's on the fringe of a good location. So it's like,
or it means that the apartment is especially bad.
Yeah, but it's all about location.
Yeah, and they just hope that you like, the coffee shop nearby.
Or what about the ones that say free rent? Lots of exclamation points.
1 month free.
See, that dissuades me to click on it. Like they're trying to get you to click
gimmicky.
On it. Oh yeah, it's like
gimmicky.
You're not going to get a free month rent. What?
Or, this one fills me with so much rage. Where like whatever the headline is, it starts with "Wow."
Yeah, totally.
What's wrong with you? Calm down. Like you're trying to rent an apartment. Calm down.
Yeah.
Like wow. Like am I really going to be like, wow, I have to live here? No, that's never happened. And even when I really like it.
And usually those are like with the worst, most scary like photographs you've ever seen. It's like today I actually saw one where you couldn't even really tell what the apartment looked like because all the photos were like a close-up of the kitchen tile and a close-up of the corner of the kitchen tile. Mm-hmm. And when you see that though, the place is probably lackluster because they're trying to find the good qualities.
They're playing up things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
I actually I hope my new landlord isn't watching or listening, but hey, maybe you are, whatever. Hello, you're great. But one of the things in this particular place was that there are Nest thermostats throughout the unit, which is great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, okay, high tech, cool. But like my spidey sense immediately was like, well, I don't really care. I don't care what kind of thermostat there is. Like, I don't own this place. Like, is that like the best part of this? Mm-hmm. So I was immediately like, I'm suspicious.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't mean that every time a landlord or a property manager or whoever is listing a unit, anytime they say these keywords that we've been throwing out means that they're like trying to hide something or trying to, you know, give me something that's like a bad deal. But there are so many of it. It's like that person who's like, oh, I'm just really spiritual. You're like, something's up here.
I think it is sometimes hard to read these listings. Like you'll see the pictures and sometimes it looks so great and you're like, oh, this is like my dream home. And then you go there and it's everything that looked so nice. You look closely and it's like, you know, cheaply made,
smaller than it looked. Or for whatever reason, something wrong with it. It's sort of like the more, and this is a sad thing, and of course it's not like across the board, but the more enthusiastic the person who wants to rent me the place is, the more I'm like, something's wrong.
You know what I'm noticing? I notice a lot of the enthusiasm comes in when it's a place, because there's a lot of different regions in Los Angeles, especially.
Yes.
There's a lot of little villages. It's we're particularly looking on the east side, and a lot of these places are quickly getting gentrified. So like places that you thought were like a little ghetto maybe not that long ago are like really nice, and they have good bakeries and little strips of restaurants, and you're like, wow, I can't even afford that place anymore. That's happening very quickly in Los Angeles, especially like the east side. And I'm noticing there's a lot of these really expensive looking dwellings going up at the fringe of good neighborhoods, but like you don't really want to live there, and so they're really trying to like puff it up, like you're right next to Silver Lake, Sunset Boulevard, like but like you're really not. Like you're in Koreatown, or like you're in,
which is fine, but like
Sure.
like it's like there's like a bait and switch thing, right, going on, where it's like, I mean, okay, if that's where it is, that's where it is.
Yeah.
But yes, you're selling something that you can't totally deliver on.
Exactly.
I'm just hoping to get somebody in there for a year.
It's a lot of embellishment, and I get that. I mean, you gotta, it's like the selling. What are the selling points? Sure, but yeah, you just be cautious out there. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into.
I admit that, as Heather mentioned, I mean, even when I wasn't looking for a new apartment, I troll Craigslist just for fun. Sometimes I'm like, I got a spare hour, like. It's not even apartments. Like I'll like search for couches that I don't want to buy, or misconnections, or what.
That doesn't exist anymore, though, right?
Well, no, misconnections still exists. Okay. It's casual encounters, because there's that whole.
I think that was episode 1. We talked about that.
I think so. But I just the weirdness of humanity is like I sometimes just want to go underground and read weird things that people want to buy or sell from each other.
It's that whole like internet detective thing that we were talking about that you definitely are. I think it's cool that Craigslist like website, like the interface hasn't changed like at all over the years. It's kind of remarkable. I'm like, I really respect that.
Yeah.
But I try to avoid it if I don't need it, because I hate looking for apartments. It stresses me out a lot. There's so much competition. And when I see something cute, but I'm like so far away from it, and I'm like, how can that be mine? But it's like I have to go through this whole process of like getting it to be mine, and then I want it so bad, and then I like get disappointed. And so I avoid it unless I really need to use it.
I know what you mean. I don't
want to open up that can of worms. I don't know. Just
I know. I don't like doing any of that either, but I like doing it when I don't actually have to move.
Sure, like there's no pressure.
I just want to look.
Yeah,
I just want to see what's out there. I just want to see what kind of weird ass carpet is in your dumb apartment that you called charming and cozy.
Okay, and how annoying is it, especially on Craigslist, if there's duplications of all these ads? There's like 25 of the same place.
Yeah.
Like, what is up with that?
I think that they know that people search via keyword.
Oh, yeah.
And so they want to make sure that they flood the whole thing so that, and that's a desperation tactic, right?
Sure, total desperation.
You're like,
I see right through it.
Yeah, if you just posted this 20 times, there's something wrong with this apartment.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I get it. You've gone in front of me. You've succeeded at that. But something's wrong with you.
I don't ever click on those.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't work. It does not work.
Wow. Must look. Won't last long.
Free month's rent.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I bet it will last long, because there's something very wrong with you. Anyway, so that's my rant is over. I hope that my move is painless. We'll be recording the show from a different unit pretty soon. And
damn, I got to go to the east side. Well, I guess it's equidistant, really. Ish.
I mean,
for me right now.
It depends on the time of day.
It does,
but,
actually.
But yeah, I mean,
I think it's about the same. I mean, I go to the east side a lot and I come over here a lot. It's still going to be between 30 and 45 minutes, depending on the traffic. Yeah. So, but the cool thing about usually, just go do other things out there and make a day out of it.
Totally.
But hopefully I'll be over there really soon. So
yeah, it's a
new lifestyle.
It's all unfolding
it really
right
is.
in front of your eyes or ears. So we'll keep you posted.
It's funny. We're about to wrap the show here, and we're gonna do our bonus topic for you $5 and above patrons. My friend Allison, remember Allison Pickard from Tech TV?
Of course.
So she pinged me the other day and said how much she loved the show, and I forgot to tell you this, but she's like, I wish it was longer. She's like, It's not long enough. Like, I'm bummed when it's over.
Aww.
And I thought that was so sweet. So we wanted to say hi, a little shout out for Allison.
Heather and Allison and I worked together at Tech TV along with lots of mutual friends that we all still have. Wonderful
it's like
crew.
The heyday.
We were truly lucky to work at this venue. And I will say about Allison, like, I always love the fact that like she never spiked.
Yeah.
Right? You never saw her like be like,
no.
I'm really like,
she was really mellow.
Good temperament. And had a really good laugh, where she'd just be kind of like
she was like an observer.
She was amused by humanity.
Yes, totally.
And the rest of us.
No, she's cool. I saw her in New York a couple times when I lived there, because she lives in New York, and she was always one of those people that I really like, and so glad she's listening. So hopefully at some point
we're following your life as well, Allison,
definitely.
So,
and I was going to say that I had mentioned to her that hopefully we'll do 2 episodes a week eventually. That is a goal on our Patreon page.
It is.
The goals are a little hidden on the page, but if you go to the top left corner and you kind of scroll to the right or left, we do have some goals.
And this is at patreon.com/have such a good day. Yep. And just to reiterate, goals are monetary goals.
Yes.
This is, again, community supported. If we reach certain monetary goals, we are able to provide added value.
Exactly.
And we hope that we get there.
We hope so too.
And we definitely do. But we also welcome ideas for goals that you would like us to achieve.
Like, what do you guys want us to do?
Yeah.
I would love to hear from you guys.
If there's something that it's like, do you want 2 shows a week? Great, we'll do it as soon as we hit a goal.
Do you want a better quality video show?
Yeah.
Or do you want like more
which is another goal of ours as well. Yeah. Do you care about like polished production? Some of you do.
Behind
some
the
of
scenes.
you don't. But if enough people do,
we'll make it a goal.
That's where the goals come in. So again, feedback super appreciated.
Help us help you.
Help us help you.
All right, so I think we're going to put a fork in this one.
Put a fork in it. We's done. All right, well.
The $5 patrons, please stick around, because we're going to get into our really, really intimate romance topic. Stand by for that.
All right, well, for the rest of you, we will talk to you and see you next week.
Can't wait.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Heather.
And have such a good
day.